He's flicked it that way and he's actually spun his body the other way. That's how hard it was.
I think it would be a much more alarming discussions we're having around Sydney FC this week.
I've been wronged before, many times, often on this show.
Yeah.
But this has got to be a fun game, right?
Forget about anyone else or the other clubs. Show some pride.
Tune in next week to see if Max Radamus is correct.
If he doesn't get the job now, he should walk away from New Zealand forever.
Given what they've been through for 40 years all around the world.
Images that precede unfortunate events.
What is that?
And so he got away with this one.
This game's easy.
Oh, that is special. Unbelievable. This, ladies and gentlemen, is football.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Total A-Leagues. I'm Vince Rugari. The finals picture is getting clearer. We've got a Sydney derby to look forward to and a lot of other stuff to help me chop it up as always. Tommy Orr, Daniel McBreen. Boys, what's cracking?
Plenty of gusto today, mate. I like it.
Oh, Thank you. I appreciate you noticing my heightened gusto. That's just football fever, lads. What can I say? Best moments around 25. Macca, you can kick us off.
Round 25. Well, I'm going to go with, there was a couple of cracking goals in the Adelaide-Auckland game. I could have easily gone with Ethan Allegic's, but this team goal from Auckland is phenomenal. Starts at the back, centre-backs, pulls, gets played around. Look at the movement off the ball as well. Yeah, ends up being 8 passes before we see the final quick. But look at the overlapping runs. Great weighted passing behind, and then this is just saying, go and finish me, and oh my goodness, doesn't he finish it? Gallegos with an absolute thunderbolt into the corner, and to me that could be very much a contender for, if not goal of the season, team goal of the season.
Also a very significant goal for them because now only 3 points off Newcastle, still a lot to play for in terms of the title race. But also, you obviously touched on it, Callan Elliott, what a delivery that was. In the absence of De Vries, the fullback stepping up, and he did it wonderfully there.
Yep. Tommy, go on.
For me, it was Wellington Phoenix. Couldn't go past it. I know I wanted to go Newcastle, but I couldn't this week. But yeah, Wellington Phoenix, 3 wins in a row. And what a performance this was against Melbourne Victory, who just did not turn up in this game. But the Knicks, they completely dominated this game. I thought that they were going to be, looking at it as 2 points lost. They just couldn't convert their chances most of the game. But Khartoum, great finish, left foot volley in off the post, and huge 3 points for the Knicks. And they are making a late charge for the final 6.
Well, what a turnaround for these guys. 3 wins and a draw since Chris Greenacre's taken over. He's not doing himself any harm on maybe taking the role full time. And 3 games to go. You can't write them off for finals now. They are right in the mix.
Yes. And their first win at Amy Park in 3,290 days.
Wow.
So if someone with a calculator can figure out how many years that is, that would be good. But no, and goals are just more satisfying when they come off the woodwork too. So that was very tasty. For me, I couldn't go past Mitch Duke's brace for MacArthur FC at a pretty important time for him, straight after the Socceroos window in which Denny Urich got a taste up front, but for me didn't quite do enough to confirm his spot on the plane. So the backup role to Mo Toure is open, and a header like that, which is almost a carbon copy of the one against Tunisia, the World Cup, absolutely spectacular. Pure Dukey areas. The old dog's got a bit of life left in him, and I think he's a really good chance, to be honest.
Macca, how hard is that header to pull off?
The fact, I was just looking there, the way he heads the ball, and normally when you head the ball to goal, you spin that way, but he's flicked it that way, and he's actually spun his body the other way. That's how hard it was. He was going the completely wrong
angles,
direction.
he had them all worked out, but it was incredibly, exactly right you said, but also from the keeper's perspective, I don't think the keeper would have been expecting that because he's kind of deviating it away from the goalkeeper. It was incredible and very instinctive, you have to say.
Even if he was expecting it, how much time do you have to react to that when it's coming in that quickly? Fantastic stuff from Dukey, and like I said, the kind of guy who I think Popper would like to have on the bench at a World Cup or even starting games, run the opposition ragged. I think he's still got a little bit of juice left in him at that high level.
Completely agree.
Partly also because no other striker aside from Mo Toure has nailed that position. So fingers crossed for Dukey, to be honest. A big few weeks left in the season for him to prove himself. We'll launch straight into the game that happened last night for us as we're recording this. Macca, you were there, calling it, sorry.
Yep.
Melbourne City versus Mariners, 2-1 win for City. They look a little bit ominous to me, Macca. What did you think about this performance?
Yeah, I think so. They're hitting their straps at the right time. That's 3 wins and a draw in their last 4 games. They thoroughly dominated this match, but they left the match open for the Mariners who really gave nothing until the goal in the last minute. They just cannot kill teams off. They just seem to dominate, lots of possession, but their finishing hasn't really been up there. This was a great finish and a good goal again. Naboo with his first touch after coming on. But if they do get into finals, they're a team that I think teams wouldn't want to play. But their Achilles heel is they don't kill teams off. So that teams will say, well, they'll still give us a chance.
That's right. I think Max Caputo, if we spoke a lot earlier in the season about how kind of compelling he was at the start of the season, I think he has come off the boil. You said in the coverage last night, there was a number of times Daniel Arzani and Nate Atkinson on the right-hand side were just tearing Mariners to shreds.
Yeah.
There was so many deliveries they put into the box, but nobody really gambling to get onto the end of them. And I think that is, to your point, exactly what the missing piece is. But the counter to that is, I think where they have improved in the last few games is their passes through the midfield.
Yeah.
So incisive, and it was a very slick pitch, obviously, last night, but the pace of their ball movement at the moment is very difficult to defend.
So where's the problem, Macca? They've got the highest average possession, but they're 9th for goals scored. Are we saying it's Caputo and the front players not finishing their chances, or is there something else that's happening in the way this team is playing under Aurelio Vidmar that is leading to that sort of lack of efficiency?
I think what Tommy touched on there is that they are improving that playing through the midfield, which is helping them now get into those more advanced positions. Let's not forget that Matt Caputo is still a young striker in terms of attacking experience. I can't help but think if there was, say, a Jamie McLaren there, potentially with that experience and just done it year after year, would it be a little bit different? And then you could be bringing a Max on like we saw a couple of years ago, bringing him on. I think there's a lot of weight on his shoulders to be the main number 9. But when you think about contributing goals from other players as well, it's not like they're all going, well,
true.
I'll put my hand up as well, I'll put my hand up as well. It's hit and miss.
It's true. And for Arzani's dominance, he hasn't been able to convert that into goals. He's been missing chances in a lot of the games, even though his performances have been great. But also, the one player who I think has his turn in form has coincided with the team is Kuhn. Yeah. He has been tremendous in the last week, and he probably did come off the boil, had a few injury issues as well. He looks like he's back to his best, to be honest, and I think that has coincided with the team being back to their best.
Yeah, I do think they're peaking at the right time, just ahead of finals. No guarantee to make it, of course, but Daniel Arzani also agrees. This is what he had to say after the game.
Tonight, it felt like you were just really expressing yourself and really enjoying your football. I mean, how did you feel out there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, personally, I think it's one of my best performances since I've come back. It finally all clicked into place, not just for me, but for us as a team as well. And look, it's been a tough few weeks. I obviously came off the back of not playing much and also being injured, but I was happy to be out there and feel like myself again tonight.
Yeah, in the last couple of weeks, the performance against Western Sydney on the weekend, your performance again tonight, do you feel like your team's starting to click at the right time of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult as well. We came in like 4 new players, everyone straight into the starting lineup, like 5 or 6 important players for the squad coming back from injury. So really, we're still kind of in pre-season for the last couple of weeks, but now it really does feel like it's starting to gel, and hopefully we can have a strong run going into the finals.
So some of those highlights there, Macca, underline pretty much exactly what you're talking about before.
Yeah. With the chances you have there, when you think about the ball that Arzani put in and the 2 strikers, I can't remember who that was going for him, that should have been a goal. I think Arzani's opportunity, it's a difficult one when it bounces up, but I still think a player of his quality should score there. So you're looking at that game, at half-time, it really should have been put to bed.
Yeah.
Aurelio Vidmar should have been coming in and going, well done, boys, 3-4-0, right, let's see it out, and really improve that goal difference as well when you think about the teams all going for 6th spot.
And I think he also won't be happy with the Mariners scoring in the last minute of the game. I mean, that is just a sucker punch, I guess, and it didn't have any massive consequences for this game, but it was just symbolic of maybe a deeper issue, and I think Vidi would have been not very happy with that as well.
I still think they're probably the most dangerous floater in that sort of part of the ladder. And even we're going to talk about the other teams who are currently in the 6 below the top 2. And they're the one that I wouldn't want to face if I'm any of the other teams. They got the know-how, they got talent as well. There's something about them, their ability to control games as well. And
they've also got a guy called Matt Leckie who's supposed to be back next week. And we saw what he did at the back of the end of last season to get them over the line. So all things at City starting to point a little bit north.
Yeah. Let's talk Sydney Derby, Saturday night in Parramatta. Wanderers, man. They got nothing left to play for this season, obviously, aside from ditching the wooden spoon. and putting a chink in the armour of their crosstown rival Sydney FC and causing them some damage, Macca, and we just really need to see it, don't we? Just not only Wanderers fans, but just as for the A-League's sake.
Don't forget about the A-League's sake. Forget about anyone else or the other clubs for themselves. As a club, show some pride is what really in that area. They could be the first Western Sydney team to win a wooden spoon. You don't want that on your history of your, I've still got friends who had terrible seasons 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and I still give them crap about that.
That says more about you than them.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. Okay. Keep everyone else down.
People don't forget.
But you don't want to have that name against, that against your name. But also, now there's a new coach in place as well. And we've heard before that whether you're in contract, don't think that you're here. You're playing for contract. I got bailed up by RBTV, I think it is, outside the ground in the last 2 games, and they wanted me to come and talk to them. And I said, look, that's your thing, you go and do it. And they pled with us to say something about the club and about the way it's going. And the people I spoke to said, we originally had 15 members as a group, friends, as members. We're down to 5. And they said, we know now it's just me and my wife next year because the other 3 have gone, we're not going to be, if it's going to be like this, we're not coming back. They're walking away in droves. They need to show some pride in the shirt. They need to show some pride in that they're representing that region. It's the biggest catchment region, talent-wise, in the country. They need, and fan-wise as well, for people who bleed the game, who love the game, or passionate about the game, and they're walking away. They need to put a line in the sand and go, it's not about, we need the good Wanderers for the league. They were a big club. I honestly believe they were a big club. I say were because how can they be a big club now? Yeah. The fans are walking away. They've made finals 2 years out of 10. They need to earn the right to be called a big club again. You've got a stadium and training facility. That's it, in my opinion. Yeah. They need to earn the right and earn the love of the fans back.
And I completely agree. And I think that Gary Van Egmond touched on it. He said that they need to win next weekend for the fans. That's what he said after the game on the weekend. And I think that's exactly all it is. I think the players need to find something within themselves. They're a good team. We've spoken about it so many times. They've got enough quality to win this game of football. They need to find a way to do it on the weekend. Yeah.
Mac, I don't know if you're talking about Western Sydney Wanderers or Tottenham Hotspur there, based on your appraisal. But let's hear from Gary Van Egmond right now.
This week that's coming up in regards to the derby, I mean, it's probably the last chance we've got to ensure that we do something for our fans, and that's super important. I mean, they've been terrific. They've come out, they've supported us, and this week we really have to do it for them.
So that's our weekly Wanderers are no good segment. So let's flip to the other side. Sydney FC had their first game under Patrick Kisnorbo, who, let's be honest, it's not a guarantee. Everyone suspects it will happen. Not a guarantee, though, to be there as the head coach next season, and didn't get off to a cracking start there, Tommy, in Brisbane.
No, and I think the stakes are very high for them in this derby as well. If they don't win, there's a lot of teams right on their tail now in terms of chasing these finals positions, and I think this game, they look flat to me. Physically, they look like they'd been maybe training really hard in a few weeks, which we all know Patrick Kisnorbo's teams do. I think
that was their only shot, by the way, Tommy.
Exactly. And Brisbane Roar should have won this game. I think they had so many opportunities to win this game and they just couldn't find a way. And had they lost that game, Sydney FC, I think it would be a much more alarming discussions we're having around Sydney FC this week. But I think, when you're Patrick Kisnorbo, he's obviously had success in the A-League. When you're coming into a team like Sydney FC with only 5 games left in the season or 4 games left, you can't be throwing it baby out with the bathwater and starting completely again. I think it looked like to me, like I said, they were physically tired, maybe trained too hard. I think he might need to pump the brakes maybe at the training ground and just put he can have a little, obviously, sprinkle his touch on the team and in terms of tactically and these types of things, but I think it was just too comprehensive of a change.
Macca, they need to make a statement too for their own reasons because they're not a guarantee to be in the 6 either.
No, well, we were doing all the permutations in the green room early. If they lose this one and all the results go against them, all of a sudden they are dragged straight into that mud pit again of potentially not making the 6.
Playing Auckland last as well.
Correct, exactly right. So this is a huge derby, not in the sense of, it's what we've seen in the past, but for both teams, for totally different reasons, it is a big match.
Yeah. So is Newcastle versus Adelaide. I'm looking forward to this one, the 2 best attacks in the league going head-to-head. This is, I've been wronged before many times, often on this show.
Yeah.
But this has got to be a fun game, right?
It has to be. Well, yeah, I think there'll be goals in this one. You can always put your money on that. But also, the last time Adelaide played Newcastle, I thought Adelaide was better than Newcastle. They're one of the few teams, although Newcastle in recent weeks haven't been getting results, they still look good in terms of their play. They just probably haven't been converting their chances as clinically as they were before. But the last game at Coopers, Adelaide completely destroyed Newcastle, and Clayton Taylor got a hat-trick, but aside from that, I thought Newcastle was quite flat. So Adelaide will go into this game thinking they can cause an upset. But the contrast is Newcastle, I think they need to be perfect between now and the end of the season to win the minor premiership.
Yeah. I think there'll be 5 goals in this one. There's another statement. There'll be 5 goals. I'm not going to give you the score, but there'll be 5 goals in this because both teams will go for it. Look, the question keeps getting asked is, are Newcastle faltering? Are they under... I think they're a little bit a victim of their own success because they have been so great this season and no one was really expecting it. Now that they're not just dismantling teams and smashing them, we sat in the green room saying, in the last 5 games, they've scored 1, scored 2, scored 1, scored 2 and 2. And I'm like, well, they've scored 2 goals in 3 games. You can't... They just can't hold them at that place all the time. So I'm not worried about Newcastle. I think they'll get the premiership done. Finals football is a completely different story. And you've got to think they've been doing it without Taylor. Eli Adams was off the bench this week as well. So, look, I'm not worried about them. I think they will get over the line for premiership. But there'll be 5 goals this week. Yeah.
Tune in next week to see if Max Stradamus is correct or if we'll all just forget that happened and move on with our lives. We'll see, Macca. We'll see. Auckland Victory is another big one. Obviously, Auckland snapping at the Jets' heels. Both sides going to be pretty depleted for this one. Auckland already have De Vries out. Brumo, Wood and Mai also ruled out. But then Victory not going well. And then the one thing that's good about them, at least lately, Juan Mata, out with, he had elbow surgery this week. I hope we see him again in a Victory jersey this season / next season also. Again, no guarantees there.
Huge loss for Victory. And I think there are question marks now about how they can recalibrate because, you look at, he is so instrumental to the way they play and how they create chances that you take him out and the struggles were evident. I think even after this moment happened, he obviously wasn't himself. It influenced him in this game. It was clear. And obviously now we know what the injury was. It makes complete sense as to why that was the case. But, looking into these last 3 games, who I think they're obviously in a little bit more of an assured position than Sydney FC, but at the same time, they need some more points too to guarantee finals themselves.
But you also want confidence going into the finals. So you don't want to limp into the finals and go, we got there.
Yeah.
You want to go in with some gusto. And we've said all along since he's started to play, how are they going to be if he get an injury? Because he is the fulcrum for that team. He runs the show, and it all goes through him. And he's quite rightly he's doing the business. Now we're going to see the depth of the squad and who's the one who's going to step up to the plate and say, I have to assume that role now, and I have to be the playmaker.
Well, who do you think it might be, Macca? Because the forwards obviously are not producing at the level that we'd like. We've spoken a lot about Virgos. What's the name? Genro.
Yeah.
Might be the guy, the sort of other creative aspect of this team. Maybe he gets shifted in the 10 and gets the strings.
Well, he started there, didn't he?
I think that's the logical choice.
Of the season.
Yeah.
But I remember at that time we had the discussions about that's not really his natural position. He's more the 8 position.
Yeah. But what else can they do?
Well, that's it. Well, Grimaldi, could you throw him in that area there as well?
Let's not downplay it too much as well. You look at the likes of Santos. I think he's had a much stronger second half of this season than he was at the start. So there's still a lot of firepower in this team. It just hasn't clicked when Mata's not been in the lineup, and that's what they need to solve. It's not a matter of them not having the ammo to cause teams to hurt other teams. It's just them finding the right combination and probably tweaking their approach. With no Juan Mata, they might need to look to more kind of their wide plays in terms of inspiration to get past their man and be more direct and get crosses into the box. I think these types of things, they're going to have to recalibrate.
Let's have a look at the ladder as it stands right now. The top 6 race, as we've been saying, is getting intense. Macca, do you see much movement happening this weekend in terms of these final spaces?
Well, all eyes on 5th to 8th, to be honest. Depending on that Sydney FC Western Sydney game, if Sydney FC lose that, it is all hands on deck again. It blows it wide open. If Sydney FC win that one, I think they can start to go, well, okay, we feel a little bit comfortable.
And I think City versus Knicks, they are both. I mean, if the Knicks win
that's a massive one.
that 6th place is just blown wide open, I think. And if Wellington lose to Melbourne City, I think that, it's going to be tough for Wellington to get back from that one. But that is huge. And obviously a busy week for Melbourne City as well. Eunice will come back in after his red card, which is a big thing for them. But that is a huge game.
Yeah. Probably haven't spoken enough about the Phoenix and how well they've been going under at Greenacre. Super impressive.
Yeah, if he doesn't get the job now, he should walk away from New Zealand forever and never go back. It's his 4th time in interim. They've won 3 and drawn 1 under him. They look rejuvenated. They look lively. They absolutely dominated Victory on the weekend. They could have won by more, or should have won by more.
And I think the surprising thing as well has been the change in approach, because how much more attacking kind of flair are they playing with now and more incisive passes? It's honestly completely unrecognisable.
Yeah.
You know who else looks rejuvenated and lively? Graham Arnold. An airport reception for the ages for him as he returned to Australia after steering Iraq to their first World Cup appearance in 40 years. This is some what he had to say.
I didn't expect this here in Australia, obviously in Iraq, but it's incredible. I was very, very proud of the players and what they did. Obviously making many Iraqis very happy is very important, and that was the main thing.
How good. Graham Arnold. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy for that.
Incredible
What
achievement.
a great story for Australian football. Everyone's got an automatic second team in Australia for the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
And if you happen to be in Fairfield while any of their games are on, you've made the right choice, I would say. Welcome, Narlene, to the desk.
Thank you.
How you doing, man?
Good. Well, let's get into it with Arnie. I mean, what a moment it was, guiding Iraq to their first World Cup in 40 years. And the scenes when he arrived at Sydney Airport, like what he said, he was not expecting it at all. He was swamped by hundreds of Iraqi fans getting amongst it. Even on the streets of Baghdad, there was a bus parade with the players. His face was plastered on the bus. I mean, this is really something we don't see too often in our lifetime. But we have seen it in the past in the A-Leagues with, some key marquee players arriving. And, I mean, you can't look past Alessandro Del Piero when he arrived in Sydney. Do you remember that?
I remember it. I was not in Sydney. I really wished I was in Sydney on that day. That was like Christmas for any Australian, Italian football fans. It was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, it was incredible. And how about Juan Mata arriving at Sydney? Now, we know how that stint at the Wanderers played out, but still, I mean, incredible scenes. The RBB in full voice, and it's just an incredible moment. I mean, you don't see it often, but it's great.
Yeah, I think you can see what football means to people in those moments. For people to go to the airport, it's just a huge gesture. And, particularly for Arnie, you've got to be so happy. For an Australian coach to be at the forefront of that achievement, what it means to the Iraqi population, given what they've been through for 40 years all around the world, is just so symbolic. And stoked for Arnie, but it's just a beautiful moment, really.
On Arnie, about 14 years earlier, he had a similar moment there when we were at the Mariners, and we ended up winning the premiership in New Zealand, in Wellington. And we didn't get a trophy given us to us there. They wanted to give it to us at home, so we'd drawn on a plate all our names and took that out with us all night. We came through the airport thinking the journos will be here to give us an interview. Not one. Not one journo. We walked out, we were like, we'll just get on the bus. So finally, 14 years later, Arnie got his welcome home that he deserves.
Yeah. Can't forget as well, the number one airport moment in Australian football, I think, is the Wanderers coming back from Riyadh for the Asian Cup final, the Champions League final, sorry. Unbelievable, so good. Yeah. Juan Mata one, though. Images that precede unfortunate events.
I was going to say, it didn't pan out well. Something else that didn't pan out well was that Hiroki Sakai challenge in that Auckland FC Adelaide game. Now, this was, in isolation, potentially the most chaotic match of the season. Now, VAR reviewed the melee and not even the challenge that was done on poor Brodie Burkett, but it's not the first time that a player's gone away with a challenge like that and not being shown a card. If you think back to football heritage for Brisbane Roar, I mean, you can't look past Danny Tiato's tackle on Richie Allegich. This was, something that...
I mean, that's kind of what Hiroki Sakai was trying to do, right? Just didn't pull it off quite as well.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think I was on the bench for this. I was either in the bench or not in the squad. I remember watching it live as a Raw player, but not on the field. And I remember thinking when it happened, I'm like, didn't look that bad. And then you saw the replay, and I was like, oof. But to be fair, I think I said it a few weeks ago, he used to do that most days at training. So I'm not that surprised.
But that was also, if you look at the time, it was a 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That was in the day when you could go, get one in early because you'll get nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
Well played, Dan.
He didn't get anything, and Daniel Georgievski, old mate, friend of the show, your warm-up co-host, he had a moment of absolute horror. I'm laughing because I know he's watching this as well in the control room.
All ball.
On Mitch Nichols, mate, what were you thinking there?
What is that?
So he got away with this one.
Yeah, not even.
Oh, wow.
Clear yellow.
That's above the knee.
To be fair, though, to Mitch Nichols, he wasn't one to make a meal of anything. I think he got up straight away after this and just walked off like nothing happened. But I'm sure in his head, he's like, I'm going to get him back. Yeah. That's probably what he was thinking.
And if he hasn't by now, he still will.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Pre-VAR, I would imagine.
So we're now throwing Sakai's name into that mix. But we're going to end the show a little bit differently today, lads. We're going to test your knowledge on the season that's been so far. So I hope you've done your research.
Nope.
Well, confidence is oozing at the moment. So first one, you should all be getting this. Obviously, fastest correct answer, you get a point. Fill in the blank of this player's post-match interview. Blank didn't get his horse through the gates tonight.
Oh, Troy.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
See? There you go.
That feels like a lifetime ago.
Harry Sawyer.
Yeah.
So, I got the answer right. So.
No,
the
fill
first
in the
one.
Blank is the Troy, not who
I
said
thought
it.
you meant the name.
This is going well.
Yeah, lift, Tommy.
Okay, now, rank these players who have had the most goals this season. Nikos Vergos, Adam Taggart, and Bertoncello.
Bertoncello first.
The exact
Vergos
opposite way
second,
that you had
Taggart
it.
last.
Correct.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, third question. Only 2 outfielders have played every single minute of the A-League this season. Can you name them?
No.
I'll give
that's
you a
correct.
hint.
So I should...
Give you a hint. One of them plays for Sydney FC.
Yep.
The other one for Perth.
Ryan Grant.
Yep.
And
No.
Ryan Grant and Scott Wooten.
Yep. Correct. Tommy gets a point.
Nice.
One each.
A point each.
Wow.
All right. Which player was subbed on this season to become the youngest ever player in the club's history?
Akolakon.
Correct. Extra point. Can you guess?
He got three assists. Is that what I'm guessing?
No, not in that game. Did
Yeah, wrong. He
some stage.
loses that point.
That was in the Sydney Derby. He was 16 years, 218 days to be specific, but you still get the point nonetheless.
Excellent.
Question number 5. Which youngster scored a hat-trick in just his second game? Correct.
This game's easy.
Macca leading the charge. 2 questions left. Number 6, which player snapped the longest active goalless streak in the competition?
Cameron Talbot.
Correct. You were calling
Also
that
the
game.
guy who has the most big chances created this season as well.
All right, mate.
It works to sit next to Robbie Thompson all year. Stats they just assimilate in.
Yeah.
Last one.
This is an absolute clinic, by the way.
Don't rate it.
Last one. If any of you get this, I will be stunned. Which player let the F-bomb slip in his post-match interview when he was asked what was going through his head when VAR were reviewing his goal?
Sakai.
No. Can you imagine him swearing?
I think I heard him swear before.
Really?
Yeah.
Hint, he plays for Sydney and it was a game against MacArthur.
Garuccio?
No. Defender?
Oh,
Ryan Grant.
No. Centre back?
Alex Grant. Tisserand.
Right first name.
Popovich?
Yes, correct. Got it.
go.
There you go.
Process of elimination.
Well, we got there in the end.
Piggybacked off.
Still a glorious point. Very good.
Well, can confirm.
I'm the winner.
Congratulations, Macca.
well done,
Thanks.
mate.
And thanks, Nalian. That was the first and last quiz we'll ever do. That was a bit of fun.
I just keep getting things right, don't I?
Sometimes. It's less fun when you win, Macca. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on Total A-Leagues.